Good morning, everyone. It's Chris from Solstice ATR and Excel. I just want to wish everybody Happy New Year for the Chinese New Year. It goes like Xin Ye Kuai Le, Gong Shi Patai means all the wealth, all the happiness that comes in 2024. You can find us on the website, Twitter, Instagram, Discord as well. We use adaptive algorithm for the side market, up market, as well as down market. The most important thing, this is for educational use. We're not a broker dealer. Our past performance doesn't give us any indication of our future results. Once again, hit the subscribe, smash the like, give us your commentary, let us know what you think. Once again, Happy New Year. This is where you can find us. Let's go to the first slide that I have up here. I put the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow together, combination of the three instrument was at the small cap. I showed the consolidation where they are boxes and breakouts in relationship to gaps, the COVID-19 reset, 2022 rally, 2022 down, 2023 back up. We got a little gap here. If I zoom in here, I have this gap that's very important, this consolidation. We are running away from the 50 SMA on and the 18. This is the 18 SMA, which is the upper cloud. Bottom cloud is basically the 50 SMA. I use this cloud just to show you another way to look at the 50 and 18 SMA. Whenever they cross from the top, it's what we call a bearish cross. Whenever they cross from the bottom, they call it a golden cross, which is a bullish cross. The most important thing in the 50 acts as support and resistance. Sometimes it gets broken down, and you look for resets on the daily as well as the 4-hour charts and the hourly for continuation. The bottom indicator is an RSI. There's a little divergence on it in relationship to momentum, supply and demand. I'm using a 38.2. We're using a 2080. 38.2 as a fib, 50% is the midpoint, as well as 61.8 as the Fibonacci at the low on the RSI, because you can draw up channels as well as down channel. Let's go to the first instrument that I want to talk about, and I'm going to go to the micro BT. The micro BTC, we can see that prior year high and low for 2 years. You can see where the Fibonacci was the prior year to the low. I haven't anchored it, so what we're going to do is activate the property. I'm going to grab this high down here, which was last year's high in relationship to the last year's low, which was here in January. We can see that the Fibonacci got basically broken out above the 100%. We go into 120, as well as, we got the 123, 138, 150. The most important thing, we are coming to this consolidation here, which we looked up last time up, came back down on the weekly, retested the breakout of that upper channel, gave us a good indication of a long, broke out, cleared the 45, cleared the 47. Right now, 47,400 should be at least somewhere as your support, or 4,700 round number, or 46,900 as your stop in relationship to continuation to the upside. If you clear this candle as well as this candle here, you got more momentum to come back to this consolidation up here. So that's the most important thing on the weekly BTC. On the daily, it'll look a little bit different. What I wanted to show, this is the consolidation that we had for a while. We looked up, we fell back in the wedge, came back up, we consolidated here for 5-6 days. Eventually, we broke up. This is a very important continuation up as long as we're above the 18, as well as, the 50. The 50 crossed here. It's reversing back up. Pay attention to the 18 crossing the 50 for continuation, and that support, which is F5 or F3 or F6, it depends how you draw the fib from high to low. This would be your support and your 78% here in order to continue higher, because if they do sell the 100%, 120, look for the reset to create a shoulder here before continuation. Let's go. I'll do a couple of them. You can see Apple on the daily chart. It's in consolidation back and forth inside that linear regression downtrend channel from the prior year high. This year's high at 196. A very important number that I have in my head has always been 192.83. 3 cents, which was the prior year's 2022 annual Fibonacci. This is very important if we are above it or we're below it. And you can see the line of gravity that I have down here as support. That's the 250 on the daily, 200, 116 SMA, 89 EMA. We're trying to, because we're getting a lot of consolidation between the 18 and the 50. Does it clear to continue, or does it fall back in this area before we're getting one more push up in Apple? Because, due to delivery and other stuff. If we look at the Amazon did very well and it continued the gap up here after the consolidation. It rounded itself. It was consolidating. We got the breakup. Let's take a look at for example, Tesla. Similar situation. TSLA. You can see that Tesla was in a downtrend for a long time. If I go back to the weekly 3-year, I want to show where it is. It was in a downtrend, tried to broke up. It created that downtrend channel. It's inside that linear regression upper distribution of the upper channel. It found support this week at the 250 because it's consolidating for a week. This week it broke up. Pay attention to prior candle from the prior week, and you break the 50% of this candle. Maybe Tesla coming back to the 38.2 if we get momentum in it. And if I go to the daily chart, you can see that consolidation. It's creating a W. Does this W clear this gap after the earning report to come back to the 38.2 fib? On Tesla, make sure that if you entered in here in this area, make sure you have a stop so you don't end up losing the gains that you made in Tesla. Let's take a look at the micro NQ, the NASDAQ 100. We can see that the micro NASDAQ 100, after this consolidation in the last 3-4 months, we broke up. We had this gap up here. You can see I put this consolidation here in the gap. I put it here and I put it here in the prior videos. If you draw an uptrend here, if I get a linear regression uptrend channel, we can do this to show you the levels. We can do it this way, and we can do one more this way. So you can see we are in a wedge consolidation going up. We got to get rid of this box I probably created a week ago. We created that V-shape, that little tiny cup. You see that? This is the head. This is the shoulder. This is the head of that consolidation. It didn't break below this candle. It found support, broke up, consolidated for a couple of days. Eventually, we got the push Wednesday. Thursday was an inside day. Friday was a push up. Pay attention to this oval that I did last time in the prior week's video. If you look at it, you'll see it right there. And I will do the as well. Boeing and BX. Oh, I'm sorry, I put the ES BA. Let's do micro ES because these have a lot of Fibonacci's and other stuff on them. You guys going to go, what does he have on this chart? So you can see we are in a linear regression uptrend. We have these two areas that are of consolidation and a gap. We have this gap up here after, 2 weeks side action. We broke up, retested that break out of this candle, bounced off, created a small W, pushed up. We consolidated in the upper range up here. You can see I have this line up here, which is the 48.41 as the main line in this oval. We pushed up. We consolidated for 2 days. Then Wednesday was the push up. Thursday was an inside day. And Friday was the last push, but pay attention to that linear regression uptrend, which the auto machine drew. It's an auto channel. I have these two. We are coming to that midpoint. Does it consolidate or does it fall back into the backside of the channel? And the 18 SMA should act as support. If not, we fall back to the 50 SMA on micro ES or the S&P. You can look at it. Why that way? You can see I do Fibonacci's usually every week for the prior weeks. You can see when we break out, this was the prior week's range. We looked up, we got this little tiny gap. You can see it in here between the Wednesday and Tuesday, but this is the push up. It looked on Friday's high, pushed up, came back in on Thursday inside day, and Friday pushed higher. Pay attention to the 150. This is last week's Fibonacci. If I activate this property, I'll go to the Friday's high. I'll come into the, activate it. I didn't get it. Activate, grab it. What are the last 4 days? It's one Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. This is the Monday. This is the fibs for next week's measured move, which we look for the upper distribution of the 0 to 80 and vice versa, going up to the 180 to 200 or coming back to the 0 line 20. 0 or vice versa back to the bottom. Pay attention to what the technicals give you. Don't be biased. Let's go take a look at Boeing. BA is setting up as well after, the report of that door breaking down. They blaming Boeing for it. Sometimes the technicians do bad things in airline companies if they're not trained well. So that news is in consolidation. You can see we had a 3-4 week after that big dump. We filled this gap. We still have that up gap here between this candle and this candle. We are consolidating. Pay attention if it ends up coming to the backside of that midpoint, or do we break up of that push up, come back to the 38.2, and this candle between here and here has a small gap in Boeing. One more thing, BX is Blackstone. I'm just kind of giving you different ideas how to hunt for stuff. We called these last week's in the trade. We can see that this gap, we came back down. We were in a linear regression uptrend, and I put this over. I said, pay attention to this candle. If it breaks up, you get the push on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was an inside day. We have not cleared that 128.24. These two candles here, the tip of them are very important. If you clear it, you look for this gap up here and the prior ADX strength, which is the RSI, got too extended here at the bottom above 80. You can see it almost hit 85, some change, 87, and came back in on that consolidation. When the last leg, you had divergence where we had this high here. You can see that this gap, the RSI was lower high. That's what we call divergence. We fell down, we reversed back, we fell down, we're trying to go back up. Pay attention to the slow and the slower RSI. If this momentum shifts in 61.8 and 50 holds, does it continue to the 80% and get the gap fill on the ADX strength? So that's BX. Back right now to XLK. That's the tech sector. XLK. XLK. We can see that XLA, or the semiconductor in the international markets as well, has rallied quite a bit from this minor gap. You can see that this gap here, whenever we tested it, we have another gap right here in this area. This is a very important, that's an average true range trailing stop. You can see it's climbing higher. So if you are in this, you should have a stop somewhere here. If you got in here and here, your stop should be somewhere in the backside of this channel so you don't end up losing. If this continues, you look for the upside of this channel. If not, you pay attention to what I'm going to put VIX, which is the VIX. The VIX is showing its weakness on the daily chart. You can see it's been in consolidation. Every time it hit 15, it fell back down. I'm paying attention to that $11, $12 range. If it finds any support here, bounces back, you're buying insurance for protecting your assets in case something comes out of the global markets in Gaza, Ukraine, China, as well as the Red Sea, as well as the International Federal Reserve Board, as well as the UAE. So pay attention to what's going on in the Eurozone in relationship to the overall market. Don't have a bias to one side. In case we continue, that's great. In case we come back, get some insurance to protect your assets on the long term. So enjoy your weekend. Once again, Chini Kwai for all the Asian people out there. Happy New Year. And I hope to see you guys in our Discord or get in contact with us on the web. Let us know what you think. Take care.